Saturday showdown. D plus Kia versus BNK KRX.
Like 5 games like this, where T1 ultimately smash game 1, have a funny game in game 2, and then win game 3 and close out the series. And most people don't remember the game 2 the following week. But we'll see what happens, because KRX, they bring a lot of these teams to 3, but they very rarely win the 3rd.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I also think, you know, KRX, they have an opportunity here to do the funniest thing, just to get that meme out of the way. But yeah, they might just be able to get game number 3 if they play like they did there. They're not going to have the Lee Sin again. It is Fearless, so, you know, we are going to have to see something new. And already the bans have switched up here for T1. And Sion gone, Jarvan gone. Certainly some comfort with the Sion ban, but might be a little bit of a hint for what Doran wants to play.
Could be. See if the Jace is going to be high prio here or not. The Jarvan and Nocturne bans here. Orianna still available. It could get Orianna first pick here. Like, the Rumble is already gone. The Varus is already gone. So I think you probably just ban the Orianna here as KRX.
Yeah, Cassiopeia as well.
Cassiopeia could be a very strong first pick. There's no Ryze, there's no Anivia. Pool is thinned out. They'll ban Caitlyn. So looking for a more stable laning phase here for LazyField. Probably just a Lulu lane of some kind, maybe even Lulu Zeri to come through here, as Orianna's win rate is really high. Cassiopeia in response, but do they get the Lulu with this? Or what is the plan here for KRX? Obviously, the lane will be split if you grab part of it right now, but you will have that option on 3 to get the full duo. Instead, a more classic approach here to pick the Xin away from Owner. It is Owner's favorite these days.
Yeah, he's played it 9 times. He's 8-1 on the pick. And KRX have, in the past, generally picked pretty early for LazyField, but that's not what we've seen today. It's been Yunara in second phase and then MF in second phase. A lot more focus on to picking the top side of the map. In game 2, they picked Karma because Karma's OP, and then they picked their mid jungle. So it's kind of an interesting swap up in terms of draft strategy from KRX, especially when a lot of teams are saying that it really is kind of all run by the bottom lane.
Jace, that I was alluding to earlier, that you kind of set up by mentioning those bans, is going to come through here. This draft is a little weird for T1. Like, it doesn't have a great ball setup for the Orianna, and it gives Rich the opportunity to just counterpick this Yorick here, even though they got the Sion. Doesn't necessarily mean you win the lane. It's a strong counterpick, but if you mess it up early, the Jace can just run away with it. But I mean, I always think about, when I think about Orianna Trundle, I think it was Lucid who did this with Showmaker. Like, he just flashed in with the ball on him, and it's like, okay, I guess he's a ball carrier, but for the most part, setup here is a little bit difficult for T1, and the Cassiopeia and the Xin very, very strong. Sivir ban with the setup here we have with these bans. The Jarvan was taken away. It does make some sense. And Corki, Nami, no longer an option. Lucian is also banned fearlessly in this game 3, so a little bit more open-ended with no Caitlyn here, no Ashe.
You know what is open is Mel and Camille.
True. Pillar synergy.
Yeah.
Jhin ban. I mean, we might be looking at just like some unusual AD carry picks like Jinx, Aphelios. Those types of picks are what's kind of left here. There's no Nautilus. Obviously, Ezreal gone. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of AD carry bans here.
Yeah. Aphelios Thresh.
Aphelios Thresh feels good for both teams.
But if you pick Aphelios, maybe the Thresh gets taken away for KRX.
Kalista. Kalista feels really good with Cassiopeia. What if Paze and Keria just play Draven and Renata? Like, that's something we've seen Guma Keria do quite a lot.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
I think that with the Trundle, it could certainly work. They're just going to opt for the Ziggs instead, it looks like here. Hasn't been locked just yet, but Ziggs Leona might just be what they go for. Also could see a Ziggs Pike, but blind doesn't feel very good. Ziggs is such a niche pick, but you could see it's normally winning. 7 out of 10, I believe. 7 and 3. Sona is not really what I had in mind. Seraphine also available.
Yeah. Camille.
Okay, Camille Pillar Synergy.
Ziggs Camille. You drop an ult, and then you drop another ult. There's the Pike.
I think the Pike feels scary blind in a lot of matchups, but when you know the Renata is almost certainly coming, it doesn't feel that blind, and it feels kind of okay. It feels fairly safe. It's going to really be a big test here for Andil and Lazyfield in this laning phase, where they have been often weak, and he's just going to pivot to Leona. I actually really like this. I think Leona Kalista is still very strong. No bailout value, but great into Pike, can punish, and the damage output of this Kalista is going to be higher than the Ziggs' at all times in the early laning phase. If you don't get burst down, you always win as Lazyfield. And the Leona locking the Pike in place makes Keria think twice about going in for those combos. So this is a pretty interesting draft setup here. I kind of favor KRX. They have one of the strongest mid laners on the patch. They have the counter pick in top lane. They got Xin, and yes, the counter pick Trundle comes over here, but Trundle's synergy with the rest of this draft isn't fully there. We all know T1 is the stronger team, but kind of left a little bit puzzled by what we got in the end from them, whereas I see a pretty robust, strong KRX comp on the left side.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, you know, we haven't seen a lot of Game 3s and Fearless, but you gotta pull out some weird stuff sometimes, especially once we eventually get into Game 5s, but we're not there yet, at least for the LCK. But yeah, I feel like KRX did a really good job of navigating, especially the strange situation that was in the bottom lane with all those AD carries gone. And T1 were kind of like, well, we're just gonna go for stuff that we like.
Lazyfield's Kalista is very good, by the way, for those who haven't seen him play it.
Yeah, he's a Kalista player.
And I think the Renata just didn't really make sense of this draft at all. I'm glad they just were like, no, absolutely not. We're going to play Leona.
Yeah.
Great call.
Much better call here for KRX. Curious to see if T1 can get across the line with this draft as we head on to the Rift for game number 3. Alrighty, game number 3. Not exactly expected when we did come into today, but also exactly what we expected. It's both simultaneously. It's like Schrodinger's T1.
Yeah, or
right?
In this case, yeah.
It's like they're definitely going to 2-0, but also simultaneously, they're definitely going to, you know, happy game 3. And you never really know until you open the box.
Yeah, that's why when my wife asked me, as she often does before I left the house,
when are you coming back?
Coming home early tonight, I said, don't ask me.
I haven't opened the box yet.
I said I don't want to say anything about this. I'm just gonna let it play out.
Yeah.
The answer is that it doesn't look like we're coming home early tonight, Valdez.
Also, even for our second series as well, where it's KT versus Nongshim, it's like, in theory, KT should bop them. Like, it should be a 2-0. Like, you look at the standings, KT's in a really good spot. But we know how KT is, and Nongshim are just coming off of a big victory against KRX and the road to EWC.
Yeah.
I think absolutely we could go 3 games there.
I'm really interested to see how that's going to turn out, as Faker is not enjoying laning into this Cassiopeia early on, as most champs are not.
Yeah. I think a lot of our mid laners, especially Chovy, who feels like he's always on the cutting edge, they realize that Cassiopeia, no, she's just good now. Doesn't have to be played into Rise. Doesn't have to be played in a certain matchup. She can just own lane as she does.
I think
get a nice lead.
A lot of our mid laners who are relatively newer to the LCK, like more like postmodern, I don't know what the term is.
Postmodern era mid laner.
Let's say like 2019 and beyond, haven't necessarily played Cassiopeia that much. She was never like a standard mid pick. She was often a niche counter pick. You know, players like Quad, we all know, right? He's going to pull that one out. But for the most part, it's your Fakers, your Chovies, the big champion Ocean players who have mastery of it. But now everybody knows how to play it really well because it's been so standard in this meta for so long as a counterpick to Ryze, who's been relevant for a really long time, despite a lot of nerfs and phase rush being removed. And so I think that's part of Cassiopeia's mastery going up. But then she got this new rune, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this pick is broken, and everybody knows how to play it now.
Yeah, and that's kind of the interesting thing with all these big patches we're seeing nowadays from Riot is that some of the picks, they just like ride the meta wave so quickly, or they just get revived by it essentially. Really nice ghoulie wall here from Rich, but he's still going to have to flash away. And another pick that might benefit big time from some of the patches is the Jace. You know, the Storm Raider Surge buff that comes in on this patch, and you know, he was already played a lot. We never really liked this matchup of the Jace into the Yorick, but what does it look like now?
We'll have to wait and see. Might be a little bit better here, especially as Doran starts to get a few more levels in. But so far, it's just been the pressure that you normally see from Jace applied. Oh, no. Ow, pain.
I kind of want to go back to the Keria Tom Kench noise. Blech, blech. That's how I feel about that.
It's what we do as professional commentators.
Yeah, just make silly noises.
Speaking of Keria, he is going to match Andil's Roam here, which is a wise choice. Actually, I don't know about making a play here. This Leona's face up. Oh, but if they pass like this...
I mean, he could definitely try to burst him down, especially with the Ignite, but the flash comes through, and now Keria has to flash away. Keria's still going to take that trade to gain the flash of UCal, but now no flash, no Ignite for the Pyke.
Absolutely worth. And Faker wanted to turn this into a larger advantage here, but we'll also have to back for safety. Doesn't want the lane to get messed up, so both mid laners will run back as fast as they can, as Rich is starting to turn this one around a little bit here. As Doran's fairly low on mana. I think that's part of this, as neither of these top laners have backed yet.
Yeah. Note that he did go for the Doran's helm as well.
All you need is a hat, and you can beat this Jace.
Hat items are OP, especially in special game modes sometimes, depending on what augments you get. Here on Mayhem and Arena.
Keria lurking again.
He's gonna get the overgrowth and just walk away. And I love how Andil's like, no, no, no. I know how you play this pick. It almost feels like Andil is Keria's like biggest fan. Like this is just some like idea I have in my mind where he just follows exactly what Keria does, studies all of his play, and he's like, no, I got you, Red, and also I'm gonna play all your champs.
Exactly. No, I actually have had this vibe with Andil before in other series he's played against Keria, and I think he's even said that Keria is a player he takes big inspiration from. Frankly, most supports have said that at some point.
Yeah, if you don't, I'd be like a little bit confused, to be honest.
Yeah. But like, I do see what you're talking about here in that Keria has just not been able to get any sort of extra edge just yet, as Andil is always waiting. Now, this is a scary Trundle.
I mean, it's a bit of a 4-on-4. The hook's gonna catch the Wrist Scuttler. Good old Scuttle Crab as the flash is there for one, but the other two just don't even bother. We saw Shockwave come through from Faker and Andil and Lazyfield, I think. We're just like, eh.
Yeah, well, Willer has level 6, so I don't think they can push in any further.
Yeah.
I think Lazyfield just wanted to be cautious there, but the rest of the team, I think, was pretty confident that they were not going to be able to do anything post-Shockwave without Trundle ultimate. And that's that. So they got the flash out of Lazyfield, which is relevant for sure, but will not be able to take the fight or the dragon. KRX are not doing anything with this advantage they gained, though. And so it looks like T1 will just be +1 flash and call it a day. As Pays is also in this 1v1, going to have a good time here with the control of the lane he has now, especially with Lazyfield not having flash to close the gap. He just can't reach the Ziggs.
And Keria, a rare sighting in the bot lane. Maybe he's just here to get some XP, you know? He's like, well, I shouldn't fall too far behind on levels, so let me just soak some XP and then go top again. Or mid, in this case. Keria is going to be stopped on his back.
Pyke is so squishy. You got to be careful about, like, tossing these out into Kalista and Leona. Like, if you get stunned and Lazyfield gets on top of you, Fate's Call follows up, like, you have no flash right now as Keria. You're down a level. He's about to hit level 5, but I mean, this is a really risky set of plays here from Keria. He's trying to pull off here, and it's not going to work out. He's not going to get punished, but they will get the dragon. As with the prio that UCal has right now, he could also come over here and help guarantee And this is a big win here for KRX. Again, all 3 games, they have gotten double dragon. And it looks like this game, at least half of that will go over. Is it going to be 3 Ocean Souls in a row is the other question.
Yeah, could be. And, you know, it's kind of interesting because game 2 was a little bit of a weird one, right? Like T1 definitely were happy gaming early on. The game got out of hand. Willer got super fed, just kind of took over. And that's kind of the, I'm going to have to hold that thought as Ondel's just going to flash away. But yeah, but that was kind of like the free game that they gave away. But KRX always get like 1 standard game as well. So does that mean that they just get a standard game here? It's kind of exciting to think about. So they might get it as that combo not going to work out. But UCal does not have his flash, so he's just dead still. First blood. Gonna go over
Lazy
to
Field,
T1.
though.
Yeah, Lazy Field's here, and Owner in a bit of trouble as the Subjugate does come in. And they do get the kill onto Ondil, but a kill also goes over to Lazy Field.
So Pike gets a kill, Trundle gets a kill, but the Callista gets a kill in return. Still feel like this favors T1, but you know, it's not as good as it could have been. Shockwave combo you mentioned missed, but wasn't that important in the grand scheme of things. So they still had the damage. This matchup's getting a little bit trickier for Doran here. Would love to get that maiden. He's trying. So funny.
He'll get it, yeah.
But it's going to cost him some health with that wall placement. Fairly scary there, actually, for Doran for a moment, but he is fine. So here, Ondil already has flash, right? Doesn't have anything he can really do here. Tries to keep Owner at bay. And UCal just drops his ultimate, tries to kite it back. And then Fate's Call comes over. Willer's here, and they know they can turn this. Even without Ondil's flash, he will die setting this up, but it's worth it, I think, at this second exchange to make sure Lazyfield gets the kill. And he's also about to get his first item. Pays already has his Ludens online, and this game it's pretty interesting. You know, I do think that it's very, very close. Even though it's 1,000 gold to lead here for T1, a lot can go wrong in these early team fights into a Callista comp.
Yeah, you got to be careful before your Ziggs Orianna is online. A lot of their 80 damage is going to come from the Jace, but also the Pike for T1, especially in the mid game. But if this goes very late, I'm curious to see what could happen in that scenario. As Rich under a little bit of pressure here, but just drops the Ghoulie wall, and now we got a TP coming in. No dash available for Keria, but he's just very fast on the Pike.
Ondil has ults. They have to be really careful about trying to push any further, but they do have the numbers advantage now with Pays also showing up here.
Just gonna send it for another opportunity here, as even with the pillar, Keria not able to land that one, but he has his dash this time. 4 members of T1 in top lane.
Yeah, but there's no answering push anywhere else on the map, so I don't think this is really that bad unless...
All right, they're just gonna go on in, and the Subjugate immediately on Ondil, and he's just made a paper, and ult just not gonna hit anything from Pays. As this is 2v4 for now, but here comes UCal looking to get in on the party as the stun is there, and he's just going to flash out of that one. Kill does go over to Rich, though.
Very messy fight. Felt like for a moment there that T1 were just going to have out-rotated KRX as Lazyfield walked almost all the way up and then went to mid to answer that wave there because he just couldn't get there in time. I thought T1 were just going to get out for free, but ultimately they are able to, with some weird shenanigans here, get something back. As in live, bit of an angle onto Faker, who is low on mana, and it's just going to be pushed away. But this ult here, not great, and then Ondil gets subjugated, and Lazyfield is just so far away that initially it looks like this is kind of doomed. But eventually, UCal is able to run up here. Cassiopeia with boots, I guess. Get in there and help take out this kill. Keria is able to escape before anything else can happen, and Doran does get out as well. The kill goes over to Rich, excuse me, on the York. And still a very close game here, but I think that didn't really move the needle that much overall in this one. I think if Lazyfield was pushing solo somewhere else, this could have been much better, or if they had gotten a kill onto Faker in the mid lane, which they did not. They didn't even get his flash there. Could feel like that was something good for KRX, but ultimately really just an even trade at this point.
You can see they're trying to set up vision and position here on this dragon. A lot of members of KRX trying to clear out vision and just potentially fight for the second one. Hook is going to come in. Ondil feels like he's really not that tanky just yet. There's been a couple times where he just gets subjugated and dies, but even the damage from the Pike feels like it's sticking for now.
And I wonder, you know, as we go later into this game, will Keria be able to utilize his 500 gold lead? Like, will he continue to actually be able to make these proactive plays? As we've seen a lot of games, including one from Keria earlier this year into D+, where, you know, the pike just falls off later on, and you continue to try to be aggressive because you're really the secondary form of engaged next to this Orianna, who only has an ultimate to set that up. You do just die if you get caught, right? And there's so much CC here. Speaking of, Faker sidesteps.
Yeah, kind of difficult to lock the Orianna down with all that movement speed. Shockwave comes in. Willer just going to throw a Crescent Guard in and avoid a lot of that damage. Andal, though, once again, just being shredded in the front line as Keria looking to chase, but not going to find anything.
2 pushing waves here, though, for QMDRX. Can they get Andal?
Oh, that's the max range on the hook, as with the Ignite, you thought he was going to get the kill, but not quite the case. UCal looking to get in there as well, but now head-to-head against the Trundle, not a great spot, but here comes LazyFeel as the kill goes to Willer. And LazyFeel kind of trades positions with Keria as he goes to his team.
I think if LazyFeel keeps pushing mid, it might have actually ultimately been a little bit better for him there, but wanted to come down and help out the plays. They were super committed to that. You can see how Willer was waiting for his Wind Becomes Lightning across on the edge. As this all starts off with, you know, Owner looking for this play here. The Shockwave comes down. Wasted ultimate here from FaZe. As Andal does take some damage, right? UCal takes some damage, but he lobs it right into the Crescent Guard there. I think if he had just waited and used it later here, could have actually been way higher value. But he's more interested in the turret, as the rest of the team is thinking they're going to get this kill onto Andal initially, but UCal has a great ultimate, forces Keria to flash, and Owner's damage here needs to be respected, but then LazyFeel goes over the wall and forces Keria away, and we end up having that trade to come through. As in live, we have a big fight here.
Yeah, LazyFeel is forced to flash away. Keria, you know, he's not taking over the game per se, but he's still getting tons of value out of the pike. I mean, the amount of times he's hitting the Bone Skewer into forcing flashes or forcing awkward moments for members of QMDRX who don't really have a better opportunity to get away. So that's going to be, you know, getting the flash at a LazyFeel and saying, now we're going to just take the straight for the team. See that they're trying to go up to the top side here.
Yeah, I do see a bit of a group here for Herald, and that'll be their attempted cross map, but the timing is a little bit awkward here. Doran gets the TP back, and the rest of the team is coming up. FaZe has his ult back up. I think T1 are happy to deny this and go for a full contest. I mean, there is arguably double smite here with LazyFeel, but this is not a stable position for Kiwoom.
Yeah, they're going to TP in Rich and look for the turn to come in, but a big Shockwave going to put them at bay, and double kill for FaZe as Doran knocks it down with a kill onto the Xin Zhao, and immediately QMDRX, they go face-to-face with a bit of wombo combo. They find themselves on the bad side of that one as in goes Keria, going to miss kind of everything. But that is okay as Rich is being baited into the fight, and eventually will go down to Faker, who picks up the 4th kill for T1 in the fight.
Yeah, that was a lot of, let's just say, a cacophony of errors here for QMDRX on this one. I think committing to this fight is risky in itself. Look at UCal. He's trying to join, but it's hard for him to actually get in here. Rich teleports into the back of the fight. Then they go for the Fates Call engage with UCal. But everything is spent on blowing up a Trundle, while Doran is doing massive damage on the left side, and there's just so much burst AP damage on the right side. Like, yes, you got 1 kill, but you used everything, and you cannot win the subsequent fight anymore. When the Kalista is dead, the fight is done, as Rich really kind of reaching here to try to put some damage back onto Keria, and Doran is able to clean him up without a hitch. And at the end of the day, T1 walk away with now a massive 4,500 gold lead and a Herald to boot. So, you know, this lead is actually larger than it says on screen right now.
Yeah, because this is kind of a done deal. I mean, Willer's nearby. You know, maybe they try to get some kind of pick on someone, but Shockwave available once again. Doran just has to flash away.
And in that last fight, Andal went super deep, trying to follow up when the rest of the team, I think, was trying to leave. He dies. In this fight, you know, sets up a solar flare, but I just don't think there's anything in that fight. I think at this point, as QMDRX, I know you're playing a comp that has the Kalista element to it, so it feels like you're on somewhat of a timer, but you're playing into Ziggs, Orianna, and you have a Cassiopeia. I think you can kind of just slow the game down a little bit here and look for late game 5v5s with your great engage. And you don't have to fight these scrappy fights where T1 are arguably at their strongest right now and keep forcing. Might just be too little too late at this point to try to slow the game down with the lead that T1 have, but I don't necessarily think they had to send it on Herald by any means. UCal.
Oh boy, he is very close to dying. Just trying to survive underneath the turret against Faker is not going to work.
This turret is dead. EU is not, but the turret will be. And in fact,
Oh, man.
Faker checks those.
He's still chasing. I
He
mean, he
has
has
flash,
flash,
yeah.
so maybe would have been able to trade it. Doran does not, but he's very fast.
And also has got Pillar Peel from Owner. Love a little Pillar Peel.
Pillar peel.
Yeah, he peeled them away with Pillar. And now he's fine. They were like, we're going to catch this Jace. And Owner was like, oh, it'll be pretty unfortunate. There's a pillar in the way.
Yeah. Let me just summon my Trundle over here.
And Paige is going to take this turret out. Oh, I guess he doesn't have Satchel. Hey, he does. He's just trying to use the turret to deny CS while he does it. Maximizing value.
Yeah. Kind of difficult when Lazy Feel is right there, but, you know.
Cool idea.
I admire the effort.
Maybe he'll cancel an auto or two. And
Yeah.
it'll get the job done. Anyways, this game has very quickly lost its appeal as a potential KRX upset win. I still think there's a few angles back in, but it's going to take a long time. So a pretty late Rod here for UCal, so he's going to get a lot of value out of the transformation. And, you know, Lazy Feel building a little bit defensively here into all this AP. I like that. He has done some Mosquito Callistaing in the past, as the fans have liked to call it. This is going to be another one of those more defensive item sets. But again, late game, he absolutely can pop off. If we go like 35 minutes in.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest thing for Callista and teamfights is you just need as much time as possible. It's part of why Renata is so good with the Callista, is you just give her a little bit of extra time, land a couple more sticks and get a big rend off and maybe a reset. So if you can survive for longer might be the case that you get some more. As they're trying to set up here for the dragon.
It is Infernal Soul, very much a very relevant soul, unlike our last two games, to fight for, but it is just second dragon apiece for either of these teams. I think for KRX, if they find an angle, they should go in, but trying to hard force, not necessary. As Doran is just getting a lot of value topside. Now he's going to TP in. See if they can rush this down. I don't think so. Herald also here for combat power. KRX wise to maybe step away, but they're so far behind they want to fish.
Yeah, well, there doesn't really have much of a health bar anymore. He's up against the Trundle. We got the flanking Yorick getting in there as the pillar's going to be utilized. Is now Lazy Feel going to try to zone them with the Fate's Call. Might be able to. In goes Ondil. And now we got UCal with the engage, trying to really set something up here. Faker pretty low, but he is going to survive at the end of the day. Ondil the first to go down, and the second will be Willer. They got the dragon, but what will it cost them? We have this TP in the mid. Pays on the flank, I guess, from the left side. Carrier trying to continue with things as the pillar does come in once again. But Miasma pretty good at zoning them away. Carrier still here and still looking for the angle. He's not quite going to find it, as Rich looks like he's just going to go the left way and get out.
Looked for a very brief moment like T1 had just been outplayed on the dragon. They are still going to get those kills, and they are going to get the turret in mid as well, as Faker's able to TP up here and grab some more plate money. But that was kind of scary, and if T1 had continued to try to force the advantage, just hold that thought, Rich is going to, speaking of, try to get an advantage here.
I mean, Faker does have flash, Endy has rocket belt, so he's going to use that to get out of the ghoulie wall, and doesn't want to use his flash, but will eventually the second that Ondil flashes in.
Ondil has Hex Flash, so he's happy to trade those. As this is another one of those fights, a little awkward, but without Lazy Feel here, I think maybe KRX should just back away. In that last scrap where Hayes wasn't able to hit a lot of his Qs, that's, I think, the first symptom of what could happen in a 35-minute plus game is, okay, Doran also going to have to flash. Of, like, what could happen with Lazy Feel popping off in a late-game team fight where the Ziggs just can't match his damage output. Carrier, he's careful, man.
Yeah, he was hiding behind them. I also saw a Ziggs bomb get thrown over the top on the mini-map, so did a little bit of damage to Willer, I think, but Willer is Xinjiao, so doesn't really care too much about that. Still very strong, though, is the Ziggs 3-0-4. has the biggest lead on the map right now.
I mean, he absolutely will pop off if he hits his targets. As Andil
is actually going to have to go on in, and the shockwave comes through, and Andil dies. Subjugate once again, huge value against the Leona. Willer as well, just going to essentially fall over like a house of cards. And okay, they're trying to play here, but the stun comes through for Keria. And he will be able to set it up. Only UCal getting the one, but it's still a massive team fight win for T1.
That stun from Keria. I mean, without that, there was a chance that maybe LazyField could have fought his way out of that, but he just gets completely shut down as we are way back.
8 years ago.
Yeah, this happened
This fight happened.
I think in 2022.
Yeah.
This is when LazyField was like 15 years old. Actually younger than that. As I don't want to get too into the weeds of breaking this one down because it is a very long fight and we're probably going to jump out of this. Yeah. Because we also have to talk about this fight here. And the most important part of this is how Andil actually is able to like ping pong his way in, and he gets the subjugate out of Owner, which means that even though Rich is not going to be able to alone win this fight on the right side here with LazyField, they actually have a little bit of wiggle room on the left side because Owner doesn't have subjugate anymore. He doesn't really have buttons, so LazyField is ripping through the health bar, but Keria, the amazing stun there, and UCal then falls as the rest of the team collapses. If this game was closer, you know, like this draft could work, but they just lost so much control of the game early that when we talk about these fights now, they could go, we're just kind of pretending like we're living in a world that we're not, where you want to not 10,000 gold ahead. But like you could see, these players know what to do is my main point. But T1, I think the circus is maybe about to end.
Well, they're going to go deep into the enemy jungle and find Andil once again. Very sad Leona in this game just has not had much of an effect at all. Keria trying to take a 1v1 against LazyField, stands still and accepts his fate. And it's not the fate's call, as he is the enemy support. LazyField still kiting this one out until he dies. You know, I had hope for a little bit in this game that KRX were going to actually pull off an upset. I saw the angles.
Yeah, no, I kind of saw them too, but it just didn't work out. Like the amount of times they took poor fights with poor setups to give T1 so many angles, and how well Keria played this spike out of the laning phase as well just caused so many problems. And then Pays is suddenly so massively fed that if he hits anything, with Faker hitting anything, even with the defensive itemization, it's just a one-team fight. And Andil is playing into a Trundle. You know, the Trundle was picked for the Xin, but actually, functionally in these team fights when Andil's going in first, like, he just doesn't last very long, and he needs to buy more space. If this is a closer game, as Keria takes his hands off the keyboard here and says, well, it is what it is. And then moments later, as we roll a clip forward, LazyField will do the same, as he's like, it is what it is.
Yeah. He did a little circle there.
Yeah, nothing really you could do is there's a Ziggs bomb behind him. Okay, UCal.
Yep.
Flash 2 ults there.
Yeah.
High value. Now what's he gonna do?
Have a Storm Surge here for Faker. I mean, he's really, he's doing the boom boom damage at this point. Willer says, well, I gotta try something. And something he will try, and then immediately die. And so will Andil. Eventually, there he goes. Keria also going to survive as he's able to go ahead in there and heal up quite a bit. And Rich, the last one here that will go down as T1 this time around. A bit more straightforward than game number 2, although they still had their fun. They were able to, you know, at least set the foundation first before they had their fun.
T1, the circus continues, but it will end in this third and final game as it has in so many of these wonky happy game series where game 2 gets a little fun, game 3 gets a little more competitive as Faker and Keria dismantle LazyField. And it's not a 3-ring circus, it's a 3-game circus that T1 ultimately take in the end.
Jack shows. And some other ones, no doubt.
Doran just solos him in the mid lane. We didn't really get a full shot of that earlier, but now watching that happen as he TPs in.
Is he calling for a penta?
Not sure.
I don't even think it was possible.
No.
Maybe he was saying something else.
Yeah, I don't think so because Doran got the solo.
Yeah.
So Keria was unhappy with something.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite catch what it was. Ultimately, a bit of a frantic call here for T1 in this final game. I think they knew they had this game won, but still scary with a Kalista on the other side. But Lazyfield got shut down too many times. Kerry is stunned in that final real team fight where Kiyoom is still very low chance of winning it, but maybe there's an angle. He just gets shut out. I would not be surprised if Owner or Keria get this one. Pays, though, did a lot of boom boom and is probably front runner. Hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, even at the end of the day, Faker or Doran could pick it up as well.
Faker's and Nivea,
Yeah.
fantastic in game one.
It was just like, again, if you just remove game 2 from your mind, because kind of everybody got equally stomped individually on the side of T1, except Pays, I guess, which maybe that was your angle, Wolf.
Yeah,
he was like doing really well in game 2, actually.
I think like